Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at some of the hidden features of the PMDG 777. These include some that can be quite helpful during a flight, while others are just nice little details. Be sure to stick around till the end, because the last detail we'll see is quite a funny one in my opinion. If you are new to the channel, do consider doing a touch and go on that subscribe button, and then a full stop landing on the like button as well. Now without any further ado, let's get into the 777 flight deck. Starting off with probably the most useful feature on this list, which is the secret TOGA button. If you've flown the PMDG 737 before in MSFS, you are probably already familiar with this, but for the people who are completely new to PMDG, if you hover your mouse over the screw in the lower corner of the mode control panel, you'll notice that this is actually a button which you can press, and what this button does is engage TOGA mode. The reason they made this hidden button is because the actual TOGA switch that pilots use in real life is located on the throttle levers, but in order to use these in the sim, you would have to pan your view towards the thrust levers, which means you couldn't look where your aircraft is going anymore. So the developers of PMDG made this alternative button to be able to engage TOGA while keeping your eye on the runway. Alternatively, if you want a way to engage TOGA mode without having to use the mouse entirely, you can do that as well, by simply allocating a switch on your yoke or joystick and binding it to this function. Next up is a feature which could be very helpful for those of you who don't use a second monitor for charts and whatnot. If you click on the Boeing 777 logo below the ECAS display, a virtual hand will pop up holding the electronic flight bag or EFB. This allows you to copy all the information from your SimBrief OFP or Navigraph charts to the flight management system without having to constantly switch between several views. Once you are done putting in all the data, you can simply click on the thumb of the virtual hand to stow away the tablet again. Speaking of stowing away the tablet, if you want to potentially save some FPS during your flights, you can hide the EFBs when you are not using them, simply by clicking on the compartments under the electronic flight bag. This will move the tablet to that compartment, and if you want to use the EFB again, all you have to do is to click on the mounting frame. This works separately for each electronic flight bag, so you can stow away one while the other is still mounted on the frame for you to use. Up next is a feature which I would have loved to have known about when PMDG hadn't released their Universal Flight tablet yet, but for some reason I never figured this one out until recently. While your aircraft is in a cold and dark state, if you press and hold the menu button on the captain's CDU for a couple of seconds, the CDU will turn itself on, and you can do things like connect to the ground power unit, open the doors or change the PMDG settings, etc. With the addition of the EFB in the 777, this has since become a bit obsolete, as you can do all the ground handling stuff over there now. But this feature is still handy in the 737, which doesn't have that ground handling feature yet. And if you want to configure your own custom cold and dark state, this can also be a very handy feature. Whether this is just a PMDG feature or the actual aircraft also does this, I'm honestly not sure, but it's useful nonetheless. Another thing 737 pilots among us will be familiar with is the ability to display all the engine information on the ECAS display. In the 737 you can simply press the engine button above the multifunction display twice, and then all the extra engine parameters are displayed on the ECAS display in a more compact format. The 777 also has this ability, although it is quite a bit more cumbersome to get it this way, as apparently Boeing engineers didn't really take this feature into account when developing the aircraft. The way you do it in the 777 is as follows. First, you need to select any page on the lower center display other than the engine page. Then you have to go to this selector below the captain's navigation display and set it to ECAS. What this does is it simply puts the information that is normally on the center ECAS display and it puts it on the navigation display. After that, you want to select the left inboard knob and then press engine. That will then display the extra engine information, and to get that info back on the center display, all you have to do is to put the selector back to normal. Do keep in mind that as soon as you select the engine page on the lower center display again, all the extra engine information will disappear again, and you will have to start this process all over. So those were all the features that I would say can be of use during your average day-to-day flights. The next couple of things are purely for aesthetics and accuracy, but are still fun to see nonetheless. First up, all airliners that I know of have the ability to open one of the cockpit windows on each side in order for the pilot to have an escape route during an emergency situation. The secondary function of these windows is to allow a bit of fresh air in the cockpit during a warm summer day, for example, when using the APU might not be an option. The people at PMDG also incorporate this feature into the 777. To open the window, you simply press this button to unlock it, and then you click on this rotating lever to slide the window backwards. To close it once again, it's the same process but the other way around. It's not really going to help you as a simmer a lot during hot days, but at least your virtual pilot is having a bit of a cool down. Another feature PMDG have modeled in their 777 as well as the 737 are the window blinds. Not sure if that's the right technical name for them, but you know what I mean. As far as I know, they don't really affect the lighting inside the cockpit at all, so they seem to be purely for aesthetics, but they do make for some great screenshots. Up next is a detail we won't talk about for very long. You can apparently fold down an extra little table with a clipboard on it, and that's basically all there is to it. It's not functional in any way, but it does show the amount of detail PMDG have put into their 777. And lastly, there is one more detail that I was able to find that is worth mentioning in this video. It's by far the most stupid little detail on this list, but it's kind of funny anyway. You've probably noticed the pen that is located in between the cockpit windows. Well, it turns out you can actually press it and it makes a little clicking sound as well. And that's it, that's the whole detail. It's completely useless in terms of using this for your flights, but again, this just shows you the dedication of PMDG to their products. Because keep in mind, somebody actually had to put in the effort to model this. So that's why I find it quite funny and I thought it was worth putting on this list. I'm willing to bet that most of you have seen this pen in the cockpit before but never actually thought about clicking it. But now you know what to do in your next flight. If you did already know about this feature, be sure to let me know down below in the comment section. That's gonna be all for this video. I hope you guys learned something new today, and if you did, a quick touch and go on the subscribe and like button would be greatly appreciated. If you made it this far into the video, I have a sneaking suspicion you might enjoy some of my other content as well. For now, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!